Welcome, everyone. Happy Monday to everyone. Ronnie Rance alongside Tommy Chrysan. ML King Day going on. Many of you maybe have the day off, but it is a work day for TK and I. Let's talk a little sports here on Sports Shorts Daily. We know who the championship games are in the NFL. Denver going to be hosting the New England Patriots. The Patriots come in as a 5.5 point favorite over the Broncos. Bo Nix out for the year. A shocking development because it was, nobody really knew when the Broncos kicked the field goal in overtime that this was even going to be a conversation. It was about an hour after the game that Sean Payton went to the podium and said broken ankle, out for the year. He's having surgery on Tuesday. He injured himself about 2-3 plays before the end of the game. And that has the Patriots now as a favorite. They would have been a dog against the Broncos, but because of that Bo Nix injury, they are the favorite. The other one, really going to be a battle of two heavyweights from a standpoint of the two teams that are probably playing the best football over the last couple months of the season. That's the Rams and the Seahawks. Seahawks find themselves 3.5 point favorite or 3.5 point favorite, depending on where you get it, over the Rams. By the way, Tommy, I have a little futures bet on Seattle that I did a few weeks ago, set to win the Super Bowl. So you know where I'm pulling, who I'm pulling for. But LSU men's basketball shockingly wins over the weekend. They were 0-4 in the conference. They took on a 3-1 Missouri team. The wise guys are the wise guys for a reason. So we couldn't figure out on Saturday why the heck LSU was favored over Mizzou when they're 0-4 taking on a 3-1 Missouri team. But they were a favorite against Missouri at home, and they covered against Missouri at home. And the LSU women with a big win on the road against a ranked Oklahoma team. They win by almost 20 against 13th ranked Oklahoma. They next play, the ladies do, against A&M, but LSU men's play at Florida on Tuesday. But a big win for the ladies, as they had to win that game in order to really have any hopes of winning an SEC championship. I know that's crazy to say, only 5 games in, but that's how tough the league is and how everybody else is doing what they need to do. Sean McDermott, the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, 98-50, Tommy, in his career, 8-8 in the playoffs. He's been the coach there for 9 years in Buffalo. My quick Menard High math means almost 11 wins per year, and he's fired. He got fired today. He said he wants to continue coaching. This is wild. You've got Sean McDermott, one of the best coaches in the NFL on paper. You've got 2 Super Bowl winning championship coaches, and Harbaugh and Tomlin. There's a lot of good talent out on the streets.
Man, it's unbelievable. They built a new stadium in Buffalo. And, the thing yesterday, this is going to sound kind of pointed, but Josh Allen picked a terrible day to have a bad day. His previous 6 playoff games, he didn't have a turnover, and he had 4 of them yesterday. Careless. Everybody saw the press conference after. He was very emotional. He let his teammates down. He picked a bad day to have a bad day. All the games all weekend had bad plays, man. The pressure's real. Weather conditions weren't great Sunday in either game, but the bottom line is Josh Allen. And everybody thought when Mahomes and the Chiefs got out the way, Lamar Jackson and them got out the way, here's the path for Buffalo. That's why they fired McDermott, because they thought they had the path without a couple of nemesis in the way that had been there previous years. And wow, somebody can't wait to jump on that job. But man, it's just a wild weekend in the NFL, with just so much that you didn't see coming. Some sloppy football, questions about officiating. It's something else.
Yeah, this is definitely a crazy developing story. You wonder how much of it is has to do with emotions. A day, not even a day later from losing that game, and yeah, with no Joe Burrow in the way, and no Lamar Jackson, and no Patrick Mahomes. That's why I put a little coin on Buffalo weeks ago, thinking, okay, Buffalo out of the AFC. They're not playing the best, but they had a really good year, won 11, 12 games. Like, I thought this was their year. This was their year. Even though they had to go on the road, I thought, okay, they can get this done. I wasn't buying Denver all that much. I mean, New England's such a young team, but yet credit those two teams for getting it done. And you're right, Josh Allen did not play his best. Had another. I mean, if you're a Buffalo fan. Saints fans can empathize with Buffalo fans because it seems like every year in the playoffs when they lose, there's some scenario or some play or some weird thing that happens. And of course, again this year, Buffalo with the catch, no catch, interception type thing in overtime where Brandon Cooks, looked like he. I mean, it wasn't Cooks. Yeah, no, it was Cooks, right? Was it Cooks with the
Yeah,
catch?
yeah,
Catch, no catch. Um, obviously it was a play where literally you and I both, I think it was an interception. You think it was a catch. I mean, it was one of those kind of coin flip kind of plays. Buffalo and McDermott think they absolutely got robbed, thought it was a catch. It was
sure.
ruled an interception as looked like Cooks had the ball. It was a completion, but as he's going to the ground, the ball's taken away from him. But it seems like every year for Buffalo, there's oftentimes a story or a play or a moment that could have changed the outcome of their team. It's for the last 5 years Buffalo has lost in the divisional round, and enough is enough. You got a Hall of Fame quarterback. You got a pretty good roster. They've and now they have a new stadium that they want to make sure they sell the suites and and the licenses and going up on fees and so in order to do that, you need to have some new juice and new excitement to guarantee all that and. I wonder if, Tommy, I wonder if this is the kind of job and this is the kind of quarterback where Mike Tomlin says, I don't need a year off. If I can get that job, I'm good.
Well, there's now 7 jobs though, because Stefanski from Cleveland took the Falcon job. Of course, that's in the NFC South with the Saints. So, yeah, but I think what you said, it was a little bit of an emotional move by the Bills collectively. Like, dang, we lost again, and we thought we had the path, but it's not there, and it's a business. That's what you got to say. The only thing I'll back up on that questionable play. McDermott, I thought, was correct in saying they should have took more time to look at it. They did the replay assist thing or whatever. And, he said, hey, it's just a divisional round. We're trying to punch ticket. We're trying to win, we're trying to win a Super Bowl. Why can't you take a little longer to look at it? I kind of agree with him on that. It's water under the bridge now. It's not going to change. It's not going to be different. And that's just the way it's a bad break. But, as other people said, well, if you don't have all the turnovers and you play better and Allen plays better and you make some of the tackles you missed, the game's different. It goes back to what Skip Burton used to say. If you're up by 8 runs, it doesn't matter if that misses that pitch on the outside corner because you're up by 8. Don't let it be in control of that. But it's going to be talked about for a while, especially then after when you had a similar call, not saying the same call. You had a similar call in a game yesterday that was ruled a catch. So, hey, it is what it is. They're down to the Final Four. 2 games next Sunday to punch Super Bowl tickets.
Miami in the same division as Buffalo. That job is open. Tennessee obviously has a franchise quarterback in a good city to live in. Um, Baltimore and Pittsburgh obviously have 2 jobs open. Pittsburgh, there was reports out of there that Aaron Rodgers has not decided whether or not he will retire, and that all the players in their exit interviews were saying, "Hey, love playing with them, love to have him back." So that's an interesting development there. That Aaron Rodgers may potentially come back. Las Vegas has a job opening. Arizona, of course, and as you mentioned, Cleveland. So McDermott's he's gonna be one of those guys like him and Tomlin. Put they're pick of the litter kind of coaches. If they want the job, they're gonna be the lead candidate, no question about it. So the interesting development there. But happy for Sean Payton. Although it's going to be very difficult for him with Stidham, the backup, who hasn't played much in his 5-6 years in the NFL, the former Auburn quarterback, is going to have to replace Bo Nix, who had that broken ankle. Sean Payton trying to become the first coach to ever win a Super Bowl with 2 different teams.
Right.
It's amazing to think that hasn't happened.
In
But it
59
also
Super Bowls, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing to think that that has not happened in the history of the NFL, but it also goes to show you if you're a Super Bowl coach, you don't usually get rid of you. Although there's been coaches that have been to the Super Bowl with a couple different teams, but to win it with two different teams has never happened. And it doesn't look like it's going to happen this year
Yeah,
without Bo
I
Nix.
don't think there's a lot of people think Denver can win with Stidham at quarterback. Nothing against him, but he's been around 5, 6 years, 4 starts, 1-3, hadn't taken a snap in a game in over 2 years. The Auburn guy, big guy with a strong arm, but there's got to be some other reasons why he's never got on the field. He's been with a couple different teams, and I don't see nobody thinks the Patriots who, Ronnie, the Patriots the last 2 years only won 4 games combined 8 wins, last year 4 wins, and now they're trying to punch a ticket to a Super Bowl. It's kind of like college football with Indiana coming out of nowhere. Now you got NFL coming out of nowhere. That's good for the fans. That's good for conversation about the respective leagues. But I don't think there's many people who think the Broncos can win. I'm surprised the line's not higher. Now you made a good point. Over and under is 41.5 because and who knows what the weather will be next Sunday in Denver. But the wise guys, they don't think there's going to be a lot of points.
Yeah, and if I had to bet this game, I would definitely take the under, even at 41 and a half, and if I had to bet the 5.5, I would take New England. Although, there's been examples in the past where, the thing that scares me is it's one game, right? If you told me that Bo Nix got hurt week 3 and I needed Stidham to play the whole year, I would think that, look, the Broncos season is done. But for one game, they haven't seen him. They don't know. We've seen so many examples over the years of a quarterback playing well for one game. And the thing here is,
That's playing.
yeah, I mean, look at Jeff Hostetler, led the Giants to a Super Bowl run back many years ago, and Phil Simms got hurt in 1991. Tom Brady got hurt in the playoffs. Now, Drew Bledsoe, who's on a Hall of Fame path as a quarterback, Drew Bledsoe comes off and wins the AFC Championship and game on the road, I think at Pittsburgh, if I remember correctly, when Tom Brady won his first one, and then Brady came back healthy for the Super Bowl and won it against the Rams in New Orleans. But not many examples of a guy coming off the bench and all of a sudden it's a championship game and you gotta go get it. But it just does seem like if the impossible is to happen and the Broncos are to win this game, being that it's at home, being that it's Sean Payton on the sidelines, being that it's against a New England Patriots team that, even though they're in the AFC Championship game, Tommy, I think some of us are still not buying completely, right? Good team, but are they really? Is this Patriots team going to the Super Bowl? But give Vrabel, the head coach. I mean, how about Tennessee? They get rid of this guy. He goes back home to the place where he played for a long time in New England, and has them back, on the doorstep of the Super Bowl. And look, that gives New Orleans Saints fans a lot of hope, Tommy. It's that you got a second-year quarterback in New England. You're going to the Super Bowl. Saints are going to have a second-year quarterback next year in Shuck. And for again, Patriots, one of the worst teams in the league the last couple of years. Now one of the best teams in the league. So because of the salary cap and the way that the NFL is structured, you can have these worst to first stories. They don't happen a ton, but they do happen, and so that gives fans hope each year, which is what makes the league so great.
Sean Payton said, "We're going to be ready to go. Stidham's going to be fine." I said, "What else is he going to say? He's not going to come out and say, oh, we're screwed. We're not going to show up. Give them the trophy for the AFC." Not going to happen. I mean, but I guess the silver lining is you got all week to get Stidham ready, prepared, come up with a plan. And nowadays when you got so much tape on all these teams, when you get to the playoffs, there's not a lot of secrets. That's why you see a few wrinkles on some of the plays and formations. But it's going to be a fun Sunday next week as two teams will punch their tickets to the Super Bowl. Two teams tonight, Ron, trying to win a national championship.
Yeah. Obviously Indiana anywhere from 7.5 to 8.5 point favorite, depending on when you got the line. Right now, I think
at 8. I'm locked in at 8.
You're locked in at 8, but you said you've seen it at 7.5 today.
Saw it this morning at 7.5, then it bounced back to 8. So
yeah,
you're getting a little movement, and you may get some more before kickoff tonight.
Yeah. 47.5 is the over under on this game. I like the over. Yeah, I like the over on this one.
I'm surprised you're not there.
Well, I mean, a little steep, Coach. A little steep on these
Three
tickets.
grand, 3,400 for a good seat. I was told.
Yeah, I mean,
Louis
it's
doesn't have
three.
any connections.
No, sir. No. If you want to get stone crabs, you go to Garcia Seafood. You want to get tickets to the national championship game, you buy them online. Like everybody else, 3,000 plus, 4,000 really for anything decent. The good news is that if you did, even an upper level ticket in that stadium, Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, is not a bad seat. It's a small stadium. It's a nice stadium. It's been renovated, so just as long as you're in there, it's a fun venue. Um, this is a weird national championship game because I truly believe it's a coin flip game, but yet the line is 7.5 to 8.5, which is not a coin flip. So I'm excited to watch it. I'll put a little bit on the under, and I'll put a little bit on Miami to cover, just to have a little something on the game. But I mean, you're talking about two quarterbacks that have won a lot in college and are great leaders of their teams. And of course, we know all the storylines with the Miami connections with the quarterback Mendoza's dad and Cristobal, the head coach of Miami, went to teammates in high school and all the things. But uh, you know this will. And oh, by the way, when this is over, soon as this national championship game is over, the players have 5 days for both of these teams to go to enter the portal or not. The portal is open only for these national championship games for 5 days after the
Eh,
championship game. So it's going to be crazy, Tommy, because you're going to see all these guys, celebrating, putting on the t-shirt, the hat, hoisting the trophy, hugging, crying, smoking the cigars, and then tomorrow they're going to be going them out.
Well, let's point this out. Some people didn't understand it. Some other people I know were confused. The portal is closed as far as entering it goes, but teams can still get guys out the portal if they're still
Correct.
in there. Okay, or a guy could still return to where he was. So, but yeah, both of these teams will have a 5 day window, and somebody's leaving. Or it'll probably be a handful from each team will go into the portal, and all the coaches will keep an eye on that. But I'm looking forward to that game tonight. I think it'll be a heck of a game. It could be a little closer than the wise guys think, but I'm on Indiana. I felt that, but since the matchup was announced, and I got a big bet on it, and I'm gonna stick with it.
As well, you should. Always fun national championship games. I remember last year got the chance to go with my brother and the president of UL Lafayette and the AD. We went to Atlanta for the national championship game. Notre Dame and Ohio State. Can't believe it's already been a year. But and that one, if you remember, Notre Dame played terrible in the first half, great in the second half. They were actually covering, and with like a minute left or something, Ohio State kicked the field goal to cover. I think it went off at 7.5, Tommy, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
It was right around the same line a year ago, but the field goal put Ohio State up 2 scores, I believe, or something like that, to where it made sense to kick it, which was a relief on my end. But we to think where Notre Dame was. They thought they were going to have a chance to be in the playoffs. I love the fact that Miami has done what they've done, because remember, people swore that Notre Dame got screwed on this deal. Notre Dame should have been in the playoffs. Miami didn't deserve to be in the playoffs. But Miami did deserve to be in the playoffs, and heck, they might even win the whole thing. And nobody's talking about Notre Dame being left out. What's interesting, though, too, Tommy, is that you came down to basically the last at-large pick, right, between Miami and Notre Dame, and Miami gets in there and they're playing for the national championship. Just goes to show you that the playoffs, that 1 through 12, obviously we know James Madison and Tulane have no shot, of going and running the table. But from a big boy standpoint of the Power Four conferences, on paper, Miami was the last pick in. And they go in and they're all the way to the national championship, which makes more of an argument for, hey, let's expand this thing. Let's have more teams and let's get to 16 teams. And then give maybe 32, whatever, but at least it's an argument in a good way to expand the playoffs even more for maybe next year or the future.
Well, it's kind of like when the NCAA basketball tournament went from 32 to 64. They said, hey, we got to give more teams a shot. And, you're going to get stories like Miami's the story this year. Indiana's the 1 seed, and, some people say team of destiny, whatever you want to say. But, Ronnie, like we talked about the other day, I'm looking forward to this game tonight. I normally don't get all that amped up about a game. You and I have watched millions of games, but I'm ready for this one tonight. Going to be fun.
Mr. Carter's Barbershop is where we were in Prairieville on Saturday for Sports Shorts Radio. Looking forward to being at BRQ this Saturday, a new sponsor that will be at every fourth Saturday of the month. BRQ on Jefferson Highway, right across from the Jefferson. Tommy will be probably there watching the game tonight, right? You going up there tonight?
I'll probably go watch it at home.
You're gonna watch it at home, okay? All right. I thought you would have a TK viewing party over at the Jets.
I like watching the game and not having 78 questions. If you know that happens to you too. I know.
Right. All right. TK, tell us about what's going on over there at Court Street Cafe this morning.
Well, 7 days a week, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Saturday night is steak night. That's a big thing. Sunday brunch is really good. Lunch specials, dinner of the week. Drink specials. You got it all. Connect on Facebook and Instagram. Court Street Cafe, Port Allen. Jason and the staff do a super job here. If you haven't checked this place out yet, many of you have, and we appreciate that. You do need to check it out. All right, on behalf of Ronnie Rance, I'm Tommy Christ. And don't forget to like and share this show. A lot of viewers today. Keep it up, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or X. Like and share this show. That helps everybody involved. We're back Wednesday morning with another episode of Sports Shorts Daily. I'll be at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood in Baton Rouge from Court Street Cafe, Port Allen. Have a great day, everyone.